Hello and welcome back to IELTS Orbit. Today's video is all about something small but extremely powerful in English grammar. Linkers. These are the glue that holds your sentences and ideas together, and mastering them can instantly make your speaking and writing sound more fluent and connected. So let's get started. In this video, we are going to go through introduction to linkers, then types of linkers, common mistakes while using linkers, and after that examples of various linkers. Linkers are also known as connectors or connecting words, are words or phrases that help link one sentence to another. Think of them like connecting bridges. Without them, your sentences would sound choppy or disconnected. For example, I was tired, I went to bed. That's okay, but if you say I was tired so I went to bed, it flows much better. Now remember, there are three primary linkers in English, that are and, because and but. Linkers are typically used at the start or halfway of a sentence, and they are used to connect two or more clauses or statements. And always remember, a comma always follows a linker. Let's see types of linkers one by one. The first one is addition linkers. These add more information to what you have already said. Common examples are and, also, in, even, also, furthermore, and in addition. Let's see one example. Sheila participated in the drawing competition, and in addition to that, she also enjoys playing music. Let's see another example. She plays guitar, she sings well. And you can combine these as she plays guitar and she also sings well. Here's a tip. These are great in writing tasks where you are supporting a main idea with multiple reasons. Now let's see comparison linkers. These linkers show similarities between two things or ideas. Words like similarly, likewise, and in the same way. Let's see one example. I was late to work, and similarly, my wife got delayed too. Let's see another example. I enjoy reading. Similarly, my brother spends hours with books. Use them in essays when you are comparing 2 points or showing a trend. Let's move on with contrast type of linkers. These show differences. Use words like but, however, and in contrast. For example, he worked hard, but he failed the exam. Or, she is very shy. However, she gave a great presentation. Now always remember to help contrast linkers help show opposing ideas clearly, which is important in task 2 essays or speaking discussions. Another type of linker is time linker. These linkers help show when something happened. Examples are when, while, in the meantime, eventually, at once. Let's see one example. She slept while I mopped the house. Another one, I was cooking while he cleaned the room. These are perfect for task 1, especially process diagrams or storytelling in speaking. Let's see another type of linker, which is example type. When you want to support an idea with proof or examples, use these linkers. For example, to illustrate such as. Let's see one example. This medicine can treat various diseases such as pneumonia and bronchitis. Another one, many animals are endangered such as the tiger and the panda. Simple but powerful. Another type of linker is a place linker. These linkers show where something happens. Here, there, next to, opposite to. Let's see one example. He lived in a house adjacent to the temple. Another one, the post office is next to the library. These linkers aren't just for writing. They help a lot in speaking part 2 when you describe places. Let's see another type of linker, which are summary linkers. Use summary linkers to wrap up your thoughts. Common ones which are used in brief to sum up on the whole. Let's see one example. On the whole, I am satisfied with what I have achieved so far in life. Another one, to sum up, using linkers makes your communication smoother and more logical. Here's a tip. Always use these in your IELTS conclusion. Let's move on with result type of linkers. These linkers show cause and effect, like as a result, therefore, consequently. For example, a storm was predicted, therefore, I resided at school. Another one, it rained heavily, therefore, the match was cancelled. Great for task 2 essays when presenting consequences of a situation. Next ones are sequence linkers. Use these when listing things in order, first, second, then finally. They are useful in essays, speaking part 2, and process charts. For example, his dinner got spoiled, consequently he threw it all away. Another one, first boil water, then add pasta, finally drain and serve. Now let's see common mistakes and a few important tips. First, don't overuse linkers, it can confuse the reader. Second, use a comma after a linker at the beginning of a sentence. And third, don't use linkers to start every sentence because it becomes repetitive. Let's see one example. However, I had different goals that afternoon. See the comma after however? Always remember that. Here is a compiled list of linkers in various situations such as adding, sequencing, illustrating, cause and effect, comparing, qualifying, contrasting and emphasizing. You can stop here for a sec and take a screenshot. Another few examples of linkers. You can take a screenshot here too. Another few linking words in situations of giving opinion, concession, purpose, consequence, contrast, adding ideas, explaining, condition and choice. You can stop the video here, pause the video here and take a screenshot. Now here in this slide I have given connectors of conclusion which are very important, very important for writing task 2 conclusion and also for speaking discussion part. So pause here and take a screenshot. Now here is a sample answer given for a process diagram from IELTS question. You can see here the red ones are the linkers which are used and these are the connectors, okay, for process diagram which you can use while giving your test. So once again pause the video and take the screenshot and read thoroughly. Again a few more examples or linkers and connectors for you to go through. Now let's look at how linkers change depending on the situation. These are very handy for IELTS tasks. First one is for opinions. For example, I think, in my opinion, I admit, I believe, in my view. Use these to clearly express your personal opinion, essential in task 2 of writing or speaking part 3. Let's see in situation how you can use them. I think you will look good in black dress. In my opinion, you will look good in black dress. I admit that you will look good in black dress. I believe you will look good in black dress. In my view, you will look good in black dress. Second type is agreement or disagreement. These help show your stance confidently and politely. For example, I agree, I concur, I disagree, I cannot accept, I oppose the idea. Let's say in situations. I agree with your statement. I concur with your statement. I disagree with your statement. I cannot accept your statement. I oppose the idea in your statement. When you want to give examples, let's see, for instance, for example, to cite an example, one clear example, namely to illustrate, to give an example. These helps make your argument stronger by adding real life context. Let's see how to use in situations. She is not dependable. For instance, she was an hour late for the meeting yesterday. She is not dependable. For example, she was an hour late for the meeting yesterday. She is not dependable. To cite an example, she was an hour late for the meeting yesterday. She is not dependable. One clear example would be that she was an hour late for the meeting yesterday. She is not dependable, namely she was an hour late for the meeting yesterday. She is not dependable. To illustrate, she was an hour late for a meeting yesterday. Another situation can be when you want to list out the points. These are perfect for essay body paragraphs. For example, firstly, secondly, thirdly, lastly, etc. To begin with, last but not the least. Let's see in situations. Firstly, it's expensive. Secondly, I cannot afford it. Thirdly, my mother will never allow me to buy it. Lastly, I am not interested. Another one. To begin with, it is expensive. Another one. Last but not least, I am not interested. Now, when you want to give the reasons and causes, these are used, which are great for discussing reasons. For example, as, since, due to, because, owing to. Let's see how to use in situations. I got late as I was not feeling well. I got late since I was not feeling well. I got late due to not feeling well. I got late because I was not feeling well. And I got late owing to not feeling well. Now, when you want to give extra information, use linkers such as and, in addition, additionally, as well as not only but also. In situations, mobile and the internet are dominating our lives. In addition to mobile, the internet is dominating our lives. Mobile has revolutionized the world. Additionally, the internet is dominating our lives. Mobile as well as the internet are dominating our lives. Not only mobile, but also the internet is dominating our lives. Okay, now when you want to discuss results and consequences, use linkers such as a result, so, consequently, thus, for this reason, hence. Let's see in situations. He didn't know how to swim and as a result, he drowned. He didn't know how to swim, so he drowned. He didn't know how to swim, consequently, he drowned. He didn't know how to swim, thus, he drowned. He didn't know how to swim, for this reason, he drowned. He didn't know how to swim, hence, he drowned. Now, when you want to indicate the time, use linkers such as eventually, meanwhile, subsequently, initially, henceforth. Let's see in situations. If you try harder, eventually you will get a job. Meanwhile, try harder to get a job. You have applied to companies. Subsequently, you must try harder to get a job. Initially, you must try harder to get a job. Henceforth, you must try harder to get a job. When something needs to be highlighted or emphasized, use these ones. Specifically, especially, obviously, in particular, of course, clearly. Let's see in situations. The book is written specifically for children. The book is written specially for children. Obviously, the book is written for children. In particular, the book is written for children. Of course, the book is written for children. Clearly, the book is written for children. In situations when you have to present a contrast, in spite of the pain, she completed her shift. On the other hand, on one hand she had pain, on the other hand she was completing her shift. However, she was in pain, however, she managed to complete her shift. Still, despite being in pain, she managed to complete her shift. Despite, that was for despite. Now, still, she was in pain, still she completed her shift. Although she was in pain, she completed her shift. But she was in pain, but she completed her shift. Even though she was in pain, she completed her shift. In situations when you have to compare, use similarly. They all were dressed similarly. Likewise, they all were dressed likewise. In comparison to others, they all were dressed alike. In the same way, they all were dressed in the same way. Admittedly, they all were dressed in a similar way. Now for giving conclusions, especially in writing task 2 and speaking part 3. To conclude, in conclusion, and to sum up. Let's see in situations. To conclude, I am never going to give up. In conclusion, I am never going to give up. To sum up, I am never going to give up. To conclude, linkers are essential tool for improving your writing and speaking. They help you express ideas clearly and logically, which is exactly what IELTS examiners look for. So next time when you write or speak, try to use a few appropriate linkers. Practice makes perfect. And here's your homework. Make a list of linkers according to their use, like for opinions, examples, contrast, and so on. Write your own sentence example for each. And don't forget, like, share and comment if you found this video helpful. Subscribe to IELTS Orbit and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.